Hi friends, today I thought I'll do something different with you. I started making another comic book and I already made 3 pages and it's called Different Input. And I thought I will make my next page with you. And actually, the story was inspired by something that happened in my life. I I made a mistake and it really affected one of my friends, and I was pretty sure he would be quite angry with me. But instead of being angry, he actually helped me resolve the problem. And it just moved me so much because I was so used to that. Sometimes I would do something not out of a bad intention, but actually always a good intention, but sometimes it ends up badly. And then the person who is affected by it usually would be angry. But this particular person showed me that there is another way to deal with problems, and he helped me resolve it. And I felt it was such a powerful experience for me that hasn't happened to me before. And at the same time, I was reading a book about human mind and brain, and it was talking about how when we give our brain a different input, it can really make a change. So I realized that what happened to me was my different input, and it made me behave in a different way. I became more confident, more secure in my friendships. And I thought that I will make a completely, of course, fictional science fiction comic book that has absolutely nothing to do with what happened. And I started creating it, and actually I'm enjoying it so much. I make 1 page a day, and so I made it in a high-tech lab where they study brain. And this is my character. I named him Magnus, and it's a fictional name. And then I also created this character whose name is Diana, one of my favorite names. And I thought I would make my next page with you. I actually wrote the whole story already. I wrote it myself, but I also wanted to show you that even when I write my own story, I like using ChatGPT to help me. I write a story, I write a draft, and then when I do a comic book, I kind of brainstorm with ChatGPT what I would like to write, and usually I write of my own, but it really helps me kind of put together my thoughts. So if you haven't read it before, it's just 3 pages, and basically this lab and a new guide who is Magnus, and he's ready, and this scientists are sending him to observe this woman who is apparently is very stuck in her life, and she keeps making same mistakes, and his assignment is to simply observe her and report back to the scientists and to let them decide what kind of different input she needs. So, and in the last page, it's like he drives this magnificent car, and he decides to observe her from a distance, and then he kind of starts checking her social media. So, in this comic book, I decided to focus on visuals and to make them as fantastic as possible. And I thought that this is Comic Life 3. This is an app that I use for layouts. And I find that it's really outdated. It's quite an old app. but it's really quick. If you like using Photoshop or Adobe Express or any other app, I'm pretty sure you can do a much better job. But for me, it's just I do it for fun, I do it for myself, and this is like super fast. So I will add a new page, and then I will just copy this number. It will be page number 4. And then I like choosing a layout. I just feel those layouts, they're so cool. They make everything look like a comic book. And I already know what I want on this next page, because obviously I did write the whole entire story. And usually I choose any layout, and sometimes it just, as I told you before, it's a quite outdated app, so I'll just do this. I'll just move it. Probably better way to do it, but here we go. Here is the layout, and I may change it. When I get all my images, I may change it, and I will have like all my images here, and then I'll add bubbles and text and everything. But for now, so in my story, what I thought I'm going to do is, now I have these two characters, Magnus and Diana, and they don't know each other. And I already created them, so I'm not going to go through creating them, but I will create my next character, and I will create my next character from scratch, so you will see how I actually come up with unique characters and kind of maintaining consistency between like different frames, which I find is the most challenging thing about making comic books with AI, is maintaining a similar looking character. So for this page, I thought I will make a scene where Diana, she has a best friend and a female best friend, and they are going to work together in a university lab, creating artificial intelligence cyborg. And I want this page, first I will have Diane, I already have her, and then I will create next character. I haven't decided yet how to name my next character, so I will think about it. But I do know that I want her to have short hair like I do, because she's going to be a tricky character of this story, so I think I will have her to have short hair. And then I'm going to have like a scene where they are designing a cyborg, and then something is not working with it. Like the artificial intelligence cyborg isn't working. They're working on it, but it's not working. So at the very last kind of scene, I will have them taking a photo of it and posting on social media and kind of sharing that they are experiencing some difficulty, something like this. And the point of this page is just to introduce the third character, Diane's friend, and also to show that they are working in this machine learning artificial intelligence lab on a cyborg, and that they share on social media what they do. So it's a very, very small part of the story, but I think we can do it together. So I'm just going to start prompting, and I will start from creating my third character. And what I will do is, I would like to avoid using celebrities or any known people, so I actually want to create a character from scratch. And you know what? I do have a tutorial where I share how to create a consistent character using a photograph of myself. So this time I'm just going to use text descriptions, and I will show you how you can make Midjourney to kind of make a more consistent character just with your text descriptions and with with like rating and sending an envelope and seeds, but you can do exactly the same with images, because we are going to use that image that we are going to create, so like synthetic image. So here I will just write like a young woman with dark, with maybe with dark short hair. Maybe I will add in her 20s, short hair, and that's it. This is all I'm going to say, because I want my prompt to be as short as possible. And now I will make sure I'm in the fast mode so you don't have to wait for too long. And I will copy this prompt, and I will just create several like instances of this prompt, and I will see if I like any of those characters that AI created. And I could probably specify like eyes color or anything, but honestly right now what I want is as short, like the prompt as short as possible, because what I find, the longer the prompt, the harder it is to maintain kind of similar character. I already see that some of these characters may work. And you know, what we are going to do, I really like this trick that I found quite recently. And that's how I created Magnus and Diana. So what you can do is you can look if you like any of those characters. Maybe, I don't know, I quite like maybe the second one, because that character is going to be like a person who brings a lot of trouble to Diane. I want them to look less kind, I guess. And it's hard, because actually I like this character the most, but I think she just looks so kind. She can't possibly do anything wrong, so I will choose one that I feel like could be this character who could have some it's going to be a misunderstanding, and I feel like a lot of issues happen because of misunderstandings. So yeah, and because it sometimes takes a lot of time to generate, I'm going to like do it, but then I'll speed up so you wouldn't have to watch like an hour-long tutorial, hopefully. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I will zoom in and absolutely like this character, and I will press this button to rate it that I like it, and also I will press over here and add reaction, and I will press envelope. And if you don't have this envelope here, you can just type envelope and you will see this envelope. So, and what is going to happen is that now if you go to Midjourney message, you will see this character with a seed. And that's why, to be honest, I prefer writing my comic book in actually Midjourney bot, because even though I love organizing so much, but it would always send it here, and it's just more like it's just better to do it this way. And then what I'm going to do, I will actually save this image, and I will save it to where I'm making my different input comic book here. And then what I'm going to do is actually I will upload it, and I will upload it again like this. And now I'm going to use this as a reference image. So I will just copy and paste the name of it, and I will write exactly same prompt. I will write this, and then I will add seed, this one. I will add seed, and I will do exactly same proportion and just do it again. And what is going to happen is it will change a key character a little bit, but I find if you do this several times, if you add that rating, if you use the same seed, if you send it an envelope, if you use exactly same prompt, what happens is surprisingly it starts generating a very similar character. And sometimes you also just have to kind of use this reference to put this character somewhere. So I usually kind of do it different ways. So for example, here I can just copy this, and maybe I will write my first prompt, because remember I was going to say a young woman in her 20s with dark short hair, and I would say in university lab, high tech, maybe volumetric light. Yeah, also I use version 4 for this. And yeah, you see, she does look the same. Like from this angle, it is the same person. So we already kind of got two angles, which is quite cool for a comic book. It means you can place her in two different pages maybe. Sometimes, I mean, it is quite hard because sometimes we want emotions, and in that case what I would do, I would probably try to generate different emotions of the same face. I would say maybe do variation and do smiling. And to be able to do that, make sure that your remix mode is on. So if you write settings over here and you do this, make sure that your remix mode is on and that your version 4 is on. So when you do remix mode, then you are able to add something like smiling or talking, and sometimes it works terribly and sometimes it works pretty good. So what we are going to do is we are going to first generate several different expressions. I think this is pretty great. Like this number 3 I would use, because this is the same person smiling, and I find it's wonderful that we kind of are able to generate this very similar looking person with different expressions, and basically from scratch. Another thing that I want to do is, I do know what I want. I want a university lab, high tech, volumetric light, AR34. Maybe I'll do this first. And then I would like this idea of like artificial intelligence, cyborg, in the middle of it. And I will write maybe cyborg in the middle of yeah. So another thing what I can do with all of this is I quite like this one as well, 4 and 1. The kind of it's starting getting there. And you know what you can also do if you like something, like if you are happy with this, you can again press this and again go to the envelope, and then you can use it again, and you can kind of iterate on it in a way that it's like, I would use this again, I would use this name, and I would just, oh, those are great. I actually was thinking about a female cyborg, so I may change this. But first this. So I'm using this name, and I'm going to use the same seed. And also, I will just try to use this, a young woman in her 20s with her dark hair, Control C, and I will do this, but then I will say maybe holding a tablet in her hands. Something that I want to describe, that she's kind of full body, and I would say in a high-tech lab. This may not work because this prompt is already so long, and it doesn't really work too well with long prompts, because the longer your prompt is, the less important those words become, and kind of like it kind of treats it quite differently when it's a long prompt. So here I'm going to make a female cyborg, and I will show you one more thing that you can do to kind of do something really cool. Let's say female cyborg in the middle, but I quite like the look. I like the light and I like the surroundings. I didn't mean a male cyborg, so. But anyway, we are starting getting something. Like, I quite like this one, and I will save it to my folder with my with this. And so usually when I make a story, it takes me a while. That's why I wasn't looking like I wasn't making comic book tutorials, because usually it takes me a while to think about it, and I don't just sit and do it for several hours. I do it in my breaks, I do it when I have a moment. So usually it's a tedious process. It's like I generate a bunch, and yeah, I think I quite like this one. I will zoom in. Maybe I will also say a close-up. If I say a close-up, it will kind of show me more close. Yeah, but I'm getting there. So when I make my comic books, it takes a long time to just iterate and to make different variations. Just out of curiosity, I will kind of zoom into this one. So it's hard. I could make many tutorials about different things, but I just thought I will invite you to look into my process as it is. I think the only difference from now and what I usually have is I'm not speaking. I'm usually listening to some music and just enjoying the flow. So, but like for example, I quite like this image, and I already saved it, and then I created some images. I quite like maybe this third one. I also quite like those environmental ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this new function in Midjourney called blend. And what it does, it kind of blends 2 images or 4 or 5 images. It's up to 5 images together. And the thing about it, it doesn't always work the way I want, because sometimes it's just not doing exactly what I want, and it's not possible to prompt it at the moment. So, but it's a good kind of thing to try when we try to make something like this. Like even here, I kind of like this. It's a little bit different vibe of this lab from those ones. I quite prefer, I guess, these ones, because I do like the light and I do like the futuristic look of it. But while this is rendering, I would like to show you something else. So sometimes I use ChatGPT to help me. And as I told you before, I already wrote a story and I'm just making one page. And what I like doing is I write my story, and the story is 2 women, Diana, and let's come up with a name for the second character. Maybe her name will be I don't know. It's hard. It's always difficult. Her name will be Brie. 2 women, Diana and Brie, working on a artificial AI cyborg at the university lab. Then they take a photo of a cyborg, of the cyborg, and posting on social media, sharing that it's not working. Okay, so I wrote this. This is kind of description what I would like on this page, and what I do is I would say write a comic book page with 5 comic book strips of this paragraph, and then I would put it like that, and I would say with descriptions and dialogues. It seems like ChatGPT isn't working today. It sometimes happens. Let's try again. Sometimes it's not working and you have to try again. I like that about ChatGPT. It reminds me that sometimes you have to try again. It's like exactly the same prompt and it just worked. Shown work in a complex looking machine with wires and circuits visible. They're both in lab coats and have focused expression on their faces. So what I like about it is that I haven't thought about lab coats, honestly, like that completely didn't occur to me. And then here we are, we do have like university lab caption, Brie response, I hope so. We've put a lot of work into this project. I think we're getting close to getting the AI cyborg operational. Caption success. It's not. This is like exactly what I mean. Sometimes it just doesn't give you what you want because nothing is successful about it. It's not working, but I don't have to use it. I can use this one. Let's post this on social media and show everyone our progress. And also, I wouldn't include it to a dialogue. I will just show that they're taking a photo of it, and then I would put a caption, not working yet, but we're getting there, AI Cyborg University research. How cool is that? It's just helping me make my comic book, and I'm not going to use most of it. It's just something to give me ideas, to kind of add lab codes to my prompting, and I think that's so fantastic. But here, let's work on that. Okay, I do like this image quite a lot, and I will save it, and then maybe I will use that other image that I already saved. So if I press blend, it lets you upload several images. So I will upload this image, and then I will upload an image of Brie, and then I will just merge them. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's not something what we want, and it just doesn't make any sense, but it is worth trying. Maybe I will also try, no, I don't like this. This is absolutely not what I want to do. This one is quite cool. I can see the teeth aren't so great, but I can also use face recognition, face restoration methods, and that may work. Also over here, I can see that it made it square, which isn't really what I wanted. But let's just try. Sometimes blending is just interesting to play with, and sometimes I wouldn't even use anything, but sometimes it's pretty cool like what it does, and just kind of alright, this one, and maybe this one. Yeah, you see what it did? It actually dressed Brie into that cyborg looking outfit, which I find is super cool. It's not what we want, but it does look cool. Also, maybe I will save this, and again I will try to play with blending that and my character. Where is my character? He or she is. Maybe I'll blend it with this one and just see what happens. But look, those are not bad. Those are like, the lighting is great. I think it changes your face a little bit, but again, what we can do is we can looking at how it changes kind of outfit. It's possible to kind of change outfits, which I find is a great thing. But this one I think worked so much better. It's like she's actually standing in this lab. I'm going to try some. This is so great. Like, first one is amazing. It's like it put my character into this lab, and I think that's really great. So usually I would play with it, and sometimes, honestly, sometimes it's not working, and in that case I would just go to Photoshop and say, if we have this, like, the scene, I would just cut my characters and just use them. For example, now I have that great image, and I can just like literally take the lighting is quite great, and I would just kind of photo bash it. And if I'm not happy with the face, again I would photo bash with one of the faces in this one of those faces. So yeah, and it would take me some time to get it done. So what I'm planning to do is I will just let myself do it and speed up the process, and you can just watch it like a time lapse, so you can slow it down whichever you want. And I know that over here I want an image of hands and kind of social media post. And I also know that this is a good place to kind of introduce this new character. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it very easy, I think. And I will just use this new character that I made. I will just kind of use an image of her, and then I will also use an image of my main character. I will see which one, because I feel like maybe maybe this one I will use over here, because it's kind of, she's not super happy with the results, because it's still not working. And maybe I will add a bubble over here, so it will be easy for me to explain what is actually happening. So in this bubble, it's like she is going to say, by the way, you can kind of change an angle of this over here, which I quite enjoy. So I think over here I can say that this is still not working. Let's see, not working yet, but we are getting there. I will not use those hashtags because I don't think, maybe I will use hashtags over here. Also, I don't know, I like when my kind of images fit a very similar kind of color scheme. So over here I did try to play with different kind of images, and didn't like any of them actually. Still kept it right there, but I did feel I had to kind of match the color. But I think I will maybe just use some kind of maybe some kind of photo filter to slightly change, because it is really bright, and it's not something I feel my comic book kind of fits. And maybe I will also use a curve to kind of make it a little bit less maybe harsh in color. I don't know, I spent ages like adjusting colors and doing this type of things, so I don't know. Yeah, I think this is maybe slightly better. And then I'll export it. I just really try to match colors in each of my pages. I don't know, when I was doing my last comic book, I just spent so much time to make them like in the same. Yeah, I think this is so much better. It's still kind of little bit different, but at least it's not so like super bright. And not working yet, but we are getting there. Maybe I will even add something like, hi Diane, let's work on our project, or something like this. I probably will rewrite it. Another thing that a friend just taught me how to do, you see how text touches those borders? Actually, you can go to an inspector over here, and if you do that, you can go to text and insert margin, and if you insert like maybe I think 6, I don't know why it's not really changing, but sometimes Comic Life I find it's a little bit because it's so old, some things may not work right away, but yeah, I don't know why it's not working, but you can try. Like, this is where you can set a margin and it'll kind of oh, here it is. Yes, yeah. So if you select that, you can set a margin, and then it will have space around letters, and I found that was the best advice. A friend of mine, maybe I will add a caption for like those are captions actually. Maybe I will call it like AI machine learning lab, and kind of also I like the sound as this software makes. It reminds me how old it actually is. Maybe she'll just say hi, Diane, and Diane will say something like any progress, because maybe they worked kind of separately on it, and I will use a photo of maybe this one. I'll flip it in Photoshop because I couldn't figure out how to flip it here, but that's okay. I just flip horizontal in export. And then I will just see if it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'll use another image. I don't think this one, the likeness was like 100% great, but I think maybe this one. I don't think I think I used this one before, so maybe I will use another one. I definitely need to upload more kind of variations of her image. Also, I do like to make kind of cutouts and close-ups, because I think it makes a story much more interesting when it's like close-ups and you can see expressions and you can see maybe I'll say hi, hey Dan, lazy to work on usually when I finish my comic books, I ask someone who speaks English, whose first language is English, to help me kind of make it more conversational, because English isn't my first language and I do know that it sounds really weird but it's good to get something out. That's what I find. If you kind of struggle, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, this is definitely not the most perfect comic book page, but I thought I will just show you something, and you can take it where you want. Hey, Diana, ready to work on the project. I was still thinking if it's Diana or if it's Diane, maybe Diana. Ready to work on the project, and maybe she says any progress. Not working yet, but we are getting there. And maybe I will put it here. This is not good. I don't know what happened, but I don't like that. It's, oh, here it is. No, still no. Let me just fix it like that. Maybe I will put it here. I really care where those, yeah, here it is, like this, and then you can kind of change the direction of the bubble. I really care where those bubbles are, and sometimes people tell me this is may not be the right way to do it, but I think it's about to tell a story, and it's like, this is, I guess, my style now. I just do it for fun and kind of just enjoying the process. So hey Diana, ready to work on the project, any progress? Not working yet, but we are getting there. And this is machine learning lab. Probably will change it later, but it's okay. And then maybe I will put her face here, and I will again make a little bit of a kind of close-up like this. And here I just want to add her hands holding a phone, and I would like to kind of do that social media post. And then on my page 5 I will have Magnus actually reading that social media update and being fascinated how they just share everything. So here I will just search for, I think, UI. I do have some of, yeah, here it is. No, those are not the ones I'm looking for. Okay, over here. Yes, here it is. Actually, you know what? To save time, I'm actually quite happy with this. I don't like this finger, but I'm going to Photoshop all of that. So I'm just going to go to Photoshop, and I'm going to open Photoshop. I'm going to fix this. Sometimes I fix stuff in DALL-E. I just like in Paint and kind of fix it. But sometimes I just use content aware fill, and sometimes it's good enough. I think for here it's like perfect. You see, oh, it's amazing. I love it. Now all I need is to kind of change this, and I think I want to change it to that kind of cyborg, and I probably will take this one because it's a different angle of, let me see if it works, because it's a little bit different cyborg, but I feel like it may work. And I will use skew to make it like the dimensions of it different, like the proportion. Like, okay, we still have to fix that. Maybe that's what she's going to say, because I want to kind of connect this page and my next page with what Magnus is gonna read. So she'll just write this. And then this is kind of done, and the page is done, and you can just save it and then go to File, Export, and you can either export as PDF, but I usually export as JPEG so I can share on social media, and then go Next, and then yes, you just go to any folder and save.